Hi guys, in this part of the tutorial I will teach you how to fill this elevation with colors, like you see in the image here. And for that we are going to use the command hatch. So first, I'm going to create a new layer for hatching each part of the drawing. I will go to the Layer Properties Manager, click with the right button, and now New Layer. The first one, I will name it Hatch Wall, for example. Now I will create another one, and I name it Hatch Roof, and I do the same for all the others. These are my 4 new layers. Now, for this process, I'm not going to use these lines, so I'm going to delete them. I will make the selection from right to left to select them. The first step, I will fill the façade of the wall. Don't forget to switch to the proper layer, and then I can activate the command hatch. Now I drag the mouse inside the wall and click. Now, as you see in the drawing, I am going to use a pattern here, which is this one. I select it, but as you can see, it looks like nothing happened. I can only see one color there. And the reason is because I have my scale very small, with only one. So if I change it to 20, press enter, now you can see a little better. But let's increase it a little more. I put it 50. Now it looks better, and the next thing is to change the angle in order to have vertical lines. I'm going to click in this bar, drag it right, and you can see the angle changing. I can place it where I want, but to have precisely horizontal lines, I click in this box and type the angle of 135. Then, to have this filled with green color, I click in this tab here for changing the background color. So I'm going to choose this green here. Then, next step will be the roof. I switch my layer to Hatch Roof. Type H to activate again the command hatch. I'm going to click here, and this time my lines are going to be vertical. The pattern is the same, meaning that I only need to change the angle here. This time I drag it left, and I know that the angle is exactly 45 degrees, so I can type it there. Then the scale here will be a bit smaller. I put it 30, and the value is exactly the spacement between two lines of the pattern. Finally, I can change the background color, and this time I click in this gray here. I press enter. After filling the roof, I will do it for the door and the windows. I activate again the command hatch. I'm going to choose the layer Hatch Wood, and I click, for example, in this surface here. And this time, as I only want one color, I will switch it to solid here. Also, to change the color, because it's only one, I can change it directly in the layer. I click here, and I'm going to choose this brown. I click OK, and here you have. Then just apply it to the other surfaces. Now, to be easier, I can combine several surfaces in one hatch object. For example, I will click on this half moon, and then inside of each rectangle, and press enter only at the end. Then I can combine these areas here, click in all of them and press only enter when I finish. Finally, you do the same for the windows and the surfaces at the bottom. Just do the same process. Finally, I also want to fill the glass of the windows. I select the layer Hatch Glass. Then I fill one area of this window. I click here, and this time I click in this button and I'm going to use a gradient pattern. There are several types to choose here, and I will select this one for example. After, to change the colors are the tabs there. I will click in this one. I choose this light blue here. And then the second, for example, white. After choosing the colors, I click in the remaining areas. Also this. Now I press enter. So here you have the drawing almost finished. If you want this color a bit darker, go again and change it and select this darker one. Also the shape, I would try this one better. So before finishing this video, let's see some fast tips. If I want to change the color in one or two objects in a layer, I can simply click in the objects that I want. For example, the door and windows frame. I can also add this one in the bottom. And to change the color of these objects, I click in this tab where it says by layer and I choose the color that I want. Here it is. In this example, you can see some objects overlapped with lines, which makes them unable to see, as it happened here. To solve this, I can simply freeze the layer where I have all the lines, then select all the objects, click with the right button, go to Draw Order and choose Send to Back. Then I go again to the layer and unfreeze it, and you can see now all the lines in the drawing. So it's everything in this video. Thank you very much for watching and subscribe to CAD in Black to watch all the full list of tutorials of AutoCAD. Also, if you are a beginner and need extra help, I can provide online private lessons by Skype or Google Hangouts. Just send me an email and I will provide you all the details. Thank you and hope to see you next time.